Hello, this is Beast. You are here for a armor strip gyre build. Just to start things off, I would like to show you what it's capable of. So yeah, just, quick 100% armor strip, all the enemies died, but, that's Glaive Prime. That's not, we don't want to see that. Go ahead and armor strip, and then go back for a little bit of energy. With this build, you will be able to sustain energy in an actual gameplay loop, because the 3 and 4, as you will see in a second, will be able to increase our duration just based on getting kills. So 3 activates energy regen, which is going to be one of our main saving graces for using our 1 and 2 constantly. So activate Cathode Grace, energy regen, or pick up an orb, activate Rotor Swell, and now I'm not even going to shoot. I didn't even fire a single bullet, and all of them are gone. Now, the reason why this is an armor strip build is because take a look at what happens whenever they have armor. It's like barely getting into the hundreds. Let's group them together with Coil Horizon. It gets a bit better because, shocks do AoE, but he's like, okay, not that much, and strip armor, and the entire pack is gone just like that. That is what makes this build so powerful, so let's take a look at the actual mods and what I've done. So, to start out, the number one thing is we must put on Pillage from Helmeth's system. Pillage will give us a 50% drain to armor and shields on enemies at 200% strength. So that means we have to hit 400% strength in order to fully strip in one cast. Well, you can't really do that unless you have like 5 Archon shards Tau Forged, right? This is where we come into the build portion. We use Molt Augmented in order to gain that extra strength. Molt Augmented at maximum stacks grants 60% ability strength. This, comboed with our modding setup, combined with 4 Archon shards, all crimson with ability strength all the way through for 30% and 1 Tau Forged for the 15%. This brings us to 343% strength. Now, combine that with the 60% from Molt Augmented, and you will have just over 400% strength at 403, which will enable full strip from Pillage using only 1 cast. Now, duration is important. Using it, we can increase our duration of Cathode Grace and Rotor Swell, as well as its bonuses from getting kills. So let's go over the actual build. For the aura, I've decided on enemy radar. You can pretty much put anything in here. If you don't have as many Archon shards or the Tau Forged or something like that, you could run Corrosive Projection. It will overall help the general armor strip of your build before you go into full investment. Other good things are, of course, Brief Respite for shield gating. You could do Growing Power to make up that 25% if you so feel. It's pretty universal. Exilis slot, of course, we're going Prime Sure-Footed because why wouldn't you if you have it? Now, of course, we need to use every single bit of strength we could get. So Transient Fortitude, Blind Rage, and Umbral Intensify. That gives us a good base to go off of. And of course, we want to have decent range for the abilities to actually hit, so we're using Augur Reach and Stretch. And then the only duration mod we have is Prime Continuity, which counteracts Transient Fortitude, and Molt Efficiency. While having shields active, you gain ability duration. This is what helps us sustain our abilities. And the number one must-have in this build is Cathode Current. Now, the Discharge is of course helpful, it's more damage, it's more shock procs, that's great. But the extending duration means that if you cast Cathode Grace and Rotor Swell and get some kills, you could have both of them go up to almost a minute. And as long as you are actively killing things and, don't get nullified, this will stay up the entire mission of whatever you're playing. Now, you may have noticed this one last Archon Shard. It is a flex slot. You could do anything. I chose to do Parkour Velocity because I like being able to zip around and kill things with Rotor Swell on lower level missions. This is a pretty much general build. And one of the great things is rotor swell. Whenever you gain a critical hit, a large electrical discharge will chain to nearby enemies. This turns generally not AoE weapons into AoE weapons because of the discharge. That is one of the reasons why it's so powerful. So here I'll just spawn some enemies. We'll use normal Lado, and I'll activate rotor swell. So you know it's gonna do just general shocks for being near, but if I shoot, you can see the chain. Chain, activate, let's get some cathode grace going. Shoot, it's chaining. Armor strip. See, every now and then whenever I shoot, it does an extra discharge that spreads more status effects, more damage around, and helps with the general killing. Now, that may not have seemed like much, so let's just armor strip completely while having these abilities open. Alright, now I'll back off, and one shot. It did a whole line behind it, so do it again. You can see the lightning strikes happening and chaining. I'm out of range, so it doesn't do any extra discharges. This is what I mean by it turns non-AoE weapons into AoE weapons. You just need to hit them. You might say, okay, well that's all fine and well, but what about corpus targets? So here I've got some amalgams. We're just going to test it out on them. And again, this is just me being near. Let's put a couple shots in, get a kill. The discharge happened. You can see it's spreading around a lot more. Let's go ahead and use Coil Horizon. Everything's grouped together. And just from the shock procs alone, they just start to all fall down. So that is how I like to combo my Gyre into general play. Next, I will show a quick demo of me just doing a survival with my current loadout, although I will add in the Panzerwolfephyla for survival and, of course, everything else it could offer. Here's a quick look at my Panzerwolfephyla build if anyone is interested.
Navigation has been updated with new invasions. Chaos is spreading. Hold out as long as you can.
Well, good damn.